This pass you do to Walker, it never seems to work. The pass has to go backwards towards your people. It's kind of like an instant loss of possession. I really enjoyed this game against Amelia. I thought the two teams were very evenly matched, despite the final score. And I thought several players did very well. I thought, for one, Brianna had a phenomenal game. I thought she did very well keeping the game close. There was a lot of times she was put on an island back there on defense where the rest of the defense seemed to break down, but she kind of saved the day. I thought Jack had a great game. Jack, he kind of runs the gamut with his touch on the ball, where sometimes it's really good, and then sometimes I got to work on that left foot. But I thought he played well. I thought Jordan did well in goal. There was that one save at the end he probably could have made. Terrible idea passing it back where it's in front of your own goal, especially against an older, smarter team. And I think that's one of the things with Amelia that made this so tough, is they were clearly a smarter team than any team you've played before. Walker's got to be a little lighter on that first touch when he does his move, but the idea was good. You're on the outside, cut inside. That number 29, he's a lefty, and he does a lot of phenomenal left-footed crosses. All right, and that's very, very good from you, Felix. You got the ball, you stayed calm, you did a move to the outside, you cut back, then you cut back in, and then you passed it. That was perfect. Truthfully, it seems like the players that stay in their area seem to do better. You got to be a lot more aggressive attacking him. Now, the passes to Walker now, way too much weight on the ball. Now, when I say weight, that means it was a little too strong. Sometimes if it's too light, that's called not enough weight. You want it to land right in front of them and not be out of their range. But the idea was good. You were out on the outside, you cut in, and then you laid it off to Walker, but way too far in front. Yeah, probably should have kept dribbling there. Let's see if Felix comes. Perfect. Great first touch. This is, Jack probably should have dribbled that up. Yeah, once you see them start fiddling around like that, you got to go in there aggressive. Another, I thought, great cross by number 29 on green. And Brianna saves it. It's hard with Reese. Sometimes she does very good clearing the ball, and then other times, it's like she doesn't get all of it. She probably needs just more touches on the ball. Something just like doing kicks off of a wall. I thought that was another great clearance by Brianna, and I thought she put good weight on it. And I think you kind of let her down a bit, Felix, by not pursuing after it on the sideline there. Now, this is the time to look at spacing. You see how our entire defense in midfield is all just by the touch line. So the sideline, in soccer, they call it a touch line. Harley's moving back, Brianna's moving back. But truthfully, what you want to do when you, play a smart team that knows how to pass is you have to guard individual players. You can't just look at where the guy who has the ball is looking. And that's what drew everyone in there. Yeah, Addison needs to bring that up and not just kick it straight to the green team. Keep bringing it. And that's probably not a bad play by Harley. Just kick it out, let yours reset. Now let's watch to see with a good team, you want to guard individual players. You pick somebody out. That was a great pass there. It was a good touch, good flick out. Probably would have kept going outside. And I thought that was a pretty good pass, but whenever you do a through pass straight ahead and the guy you're passing to straight ahead, those are the hardest ones to get because you have to nail the weight on the ball. So both you boys need to go wide. I can't really tell what position you're playing them, so you're kind of just running around. Again, players that stick to their area are going to perform better in this game. All right, so this, you need to back off. You don't need to do this kick. I would communicate to Brianna to let her do it, because by you kicking it, nobody's up there. Plus, you're kind of passing to nobody. I don't know why Jack and Addison went down the line there. But the only one that went out was Walker, and it was Walker versus, 4 or 5 defenders. It's not going to work. Whereas if you lay that off to Brianna, let her kick it, she's got plenty of leg and she's smart. We've got 2 people up there, and maybe Jack and Addison get the idea to get more people upfield in a threatening manner. So again, in a throw-in, smart team, you want to guard a person. So in that situation, Felix, there were a couple times you had, touch on the ball. You got to try to dribble it out of there. You don't have the leg to just lift it with just your foot. Now notice the difference. They're getting a free kick, and all their people get upfield. Green actually can't touch it here because he was offsides when the guy kicked it. Now I don't know why Harley just decided to give up on the play. And I thought that was a beautiful pass by them. And again, saved by Brianna. We've got a clump of about 4 defenders that are just standing there. I like what you're doing here, Dempsey. Charging up, that's what you have to do sometimes when you're one of the forwards and they're having way too much possession, because unless they've got good communication, they will never see you coming. And then you're able to make a steal, and then you've got generally good odds there. All right, Felix, you should have done a move and kept bringing it up. Even though that kid looks to be twice your size, You've got momentum and you've got enough ball skill where you don't need to get scared of him. If you fake inside then stay outside, the only thing he could do is kick it out of bounds. That was actually a clever pass by Jack, trying to straddle the line there. Because had that worked and Addison took off with it, you would have had a good play upfield. Again, Dempsey, kind of like standing behind the defense with like that close, there's no point to that. You want to go to space where nobody else is. Think of yourself as a magnet that's been like turned the other way, and all those other people with the magnetic pole that you don't like. So anytime they get near you, push yourself into a different space. Now, Walker needs to be up here stretching the field with you. There's kind of not a purpose to him going all the way back on defense. Felix, you probably need to back up a little bit towards midfield. And if not even doing anything else, you're stretching the defense. See, again, Felix, you need to go. You need to go upfield with him. See, he probably needs to play that to Dempsey now. Yeah, that was bad dribbling there. Now, this one I'm going to look at some VAR. We'll see if Walker is indeed offsides, because I think that was close. I think Flag Girl at the bottom is just a little bit excited with it. All right, in this situation, they're going to get the free kick. You guys want to fan out. Jack, Walker, Dempsey don't need to be next to each other. One of the forwards needs to go up high, far side of the field. Well, worked out there. It was a poor choice by their guy kicking it. But that first touch, you got to control the ball a little bit better. And you see how he crossed it there to where they had numbers? And I thought this was a great pass, too. This was actually a good run by this white-haired kid, and he gets a goal. He kind of looks like X-Men Quicksilver, at least from the drone. But his little run that he did, he was on the far side of the box, and then he cut diagonally across, and they gave him a great pass. They earned that goal. All right, so again, the play needs to be back, preferably to Brianna. Jack needs, well, I guess you're playing 2 forwards, but have Jack punt it up. All right, Felix, you got enough time to beat this guy. Again, I don't know who that pass is to. You always want your passes. You had plenty of time to plan it out, who it's going to. Now, in this situation, you and Walker need to get your own spots. It seems like he's claiming the middle circle. You've got to find a different spot. All right, Felix, you need to cut to the sideline to give him an angle for a pass. When you're midfield, it's not just I'm a casual defender. It's I play offense and defense. See how you're stopping there? You've got to come up. Had you been supporting him, you could have kept that offensive possession going. All right, Jack needs to cut upfield as well. And again, this is just the indiscriminate kick towards the middle of the green players. Dempsey, yeah, you need to charge up and grab that. Again, we know this guy's a weak ball handler. So you can't get off. You can't let him turn either. You see? You're playing too passive on him. When you play aggressive, that opens up things for when he does do that pass for Jack and Walker. Just going to let that penalty go there. Well, foul go. All right, Felix, get up. You want to get up and just, when they have their back turned to you, don't let them turn around. Let them feel that pressure. Okay, so the pass, perfect, to Walker. Oh, he's got to get a foot on it. Got to get a foot on it to kind of stop it. That'd be, aerial control. Now you're in trouble here. He outruns Reese. I think Reese does a good, if I remember, yeah, she does good dispossessing him. Should have taken more time passing that off. And Felix, you got to flick it to the side. All right, take your time. Well, I love the way Jack communicates. He puts an arm up, and I'm assuming he says something. And that's kind of what you need. A lot of these kids, they get flustered when they get the ball, and if they get a little bit of, audio cues. So he needs to lay it off to you now. Ugh. Yeah. You were offsides by about a foot or two. And that's on both of you. It's not him, it's not you. You need to stay onside. You need to see it. You need to wait till he does that pass. Again, take away their passing angles. You don't have to, guard somebody when it's this far away, but just guard an area. Now, it's twice they've tried to go to the midfield, and I think that's a smart play by them. Again, your first touch has got to be better, Dempsey. Don't try to kick the ball. Try to catch the ball. Almost think of it as one of those stalls. Again, each of our players there, they kind of get the ball, and their mindset is, let me get rid of this as fast as possible. It's some work on the ball would be good for them to kind of gain the confidence and, just so they're a little calmer with it. It's not a bad thing to bring the ball up the field. Now, again, our midfield needs to get up by about midfield. We have, 6 people, 8 people, truthfully, back in defensive positions. And that's a quarter. Casey needs to be down more. You see how he's not kind of guarding that near flank? You need it, and you need to charge in on, yeah. When you're on offense, it's not, offense forward. It's not often you're being asked to play defense, but when you do it, you've got to be really aggressive because the benefit is so high if you can dispossess them. Needs a little bit more weight on that pass. Jack, you need to hit Jack. Oh, it took too long. He needs to stay back on side. Now, do you see how you stopped pursuing after you kicked it? And that's not a crime, to feel bad about. But had you been aggressive and followed it through, you probably score that. But there was a lot of ways you could have done that better. You could have laid it off to Jack. You did a very good job beating your guy with a dribble and getting in front of him. And I'd like to see you do more of that. When you beat somebody, cut in front of them. Because that puts them at a disadvantage where they're almost forced to foul you. And then, we've seen what you can do with set pieces. Anywhere near 30, 40 feet or so, that's a goal for you. But you got to keep coming forward. Don't just sit back and admire your work. And this is just clinical, what Brianna's doing here. If you notice, every time they get into the box, it's the same person that's shutting it down. Kaysen's going to take about 2 minutes tying his shoe here. All right. I liked what Benji did. Benji, he's running up, using the full length of that box. Addison passed it to the ref. Kaysen finally finishes that up. But Addison needs to swing it to the outside. There's no purpose to ever really go back towards the middle in your defensive half. And again, you need to charge in on these guys. This is easy work here. Now, one of the problems that I notice with your teammates is when you get the ball, they kind of they largely do a lot of standing and watching you. That may be resultant of you not laying the pass off, all season. See, right now you're offsides. Yeah, they called it. So always have they call it head on a swivel. Always be looking around, thinking, what am I going to do if I get this ball? Your mindset always has to be like that, so when it comes, you have a plan. You can tell a lot of the players in your team, they don't have that plan. They get it, and they say, oh, crap, let me get rid of this. And then they kind of kick to get rid of it. So even when you don't have the ball, you got to be looking around, what if I get the ball? Am I on side? Am I ready to go? What's my first move going to be? The players that kind of mentally have that already, planned out make better decisions. And I kind of missed it there, but when the ball was coming back to Brianna, did you notice the first thing she did? She looked up field. She knew she was going to get it. And she said, well, let me look up field so I know what I'm going to do with it once I get it. And then she saw she had a couple people at field, and then she looked back down at the ball and then cleared it to them. Now, way too much congestion here. I think you're better served on the left side of the field, which would be the near side of us now, just because you're as good with the left or the right. Putting you up there kind of forces Walker to go towards his left. All right, so you're still on side. And that was a great through ball to you. And don't waste it. Keep pursuing him. Now, Walker needs a cut towards the middle and fast. This is excellent work, Dempsey. That was excellent. That's what you need. When you do that, now watch. Now all your red players are going to settle in midfield, and they got a good chance of trapping them here. It would help if Reese wasn't afraid of the ball. That was an admirable attempt to try to switch fields, to go from the near side to the far side. That usually works very well if people can do it. She took a little bit long, and you need it, laid up to the, See, the pass was a little off target. He got lucky. And same here, Jack needs to keep coming at him. Can't let him turn in front of you easy like that. Kaysen with about as minimal effort as you could have given on that. But you see how you guys were aggressive pursuing them, and you had a lot of good opportunities, and you kind of got them trapped there? A lot of good things happen when you do that, when the forwards stay aggressive like that. So you need to play it in the middle. This is where you need to cross it to Walker and Jack. See, that doesn't call for the shot. You've got the strength to hit that shot, but you don't have the timing yet, that skill set, to do it on the run. You lose a lot of power when the ball's rolling away from you. The play is to maybe stop, drag it back, try to cross it to your two guys. Again, she stepped on his foot too. Now, I know you weren't there on that one when Brianna cleared it, but you don't want those balls to hit the ground. You want to get your foot underneath it so you can start to control it. Your next game coming up is against Nottoway, and the little guys, they had play forward. If you remember, a lot of times when the ball's, coming down from the air, they like to just kick it. So while you're watching it come down and you're settling and you're like, well, it's going to bounce here and I'm going to corral it here, he comes up and he puts a kibosh on your whole plans because he just kicks it. And it didn't really seem like he had any control of where it went or not. But you've got to get a foot on it. This is great anticipation by Jack, but this is one of the times Jack had bad touch. Again, you're coming from the far side of the field to the near side to apply pressure, but that's not your job. Your job, stay on your side. This should be your side, I think. This is where I think it would be best served for yours and Walker's talent. Plus, it forces Walker to play to his right, which he's strong at. Now you're challenging the ball on the far side of the field. Do you see that? That's a unnecessary energy expenditure. I like what you're doing. I really do. But in a perfect world, the two forwards would both do that. One would get the left side, one would get the right side. Now we've got nobody down on this near side. At all, defense or offense. In a situation like this, if you notice it, you can probably communicate to, where is Walker? Oh, he's way back. Yeah, see, he's got to stay up on offense. All right. So yeah, if he were, we need some people on this side. So A+ for Benji for running to the end of the box. B+ for the, oh no. We'll give him an F- for the directional punt. Something that might be good to practice is have the goalies just practice kind of punts and drop kicks and have somebody, back there like Reese, so she can just get used to the aerial balls and not get scared of it. You got to win this. You 100% got to win this. And that was good. It was unlucky that the ball ricocheted to the goalie. But again, you guys are in another situation where you can trap them. Walker, the place to Walker. You got to cross it. Well, now you definitely have to cross it. And that was an excellent cross, and they probably should have been closer to the box. But again, I would say pretty much 10 times out of 10 when Dempsey goes up the flank like that, you don't think cross. So he's got to get rid of it quicker. This isn't going to... Yeah. So that was actually a pretty good cross that you did. Looking back, you got to the edge. By farther upfield you go, you kind of eliminate the possibility of your teammates being offsides. It's a much harder cross to do like that, and I thought you did it pretty well. Just This soccer tennis here. Bunch of kids afraid to dribble. All right. That was a decent run by Kaysen. He's got to know when to play it off there. He did good to create separation. That was a perfect croqueta. That was an absolutely perfect croqueta. It's a devastating move if you can master it. And this is an example of, Walker being aggressive paying off. The play's back to Walker if you can do it. See how there's that little window there you can sneak it through? The odds of you getting by 3, it's just not going to happen. Always think that when you have multiple people on you, your teammates are open. And that's one of the things, if your mind's going, that was a perfect trap. There is about a half second too late to Walker. Well, that guy's going to give it to Walker himself. But you've got to have in your mind, like you see Addison's got this, you looking around and thinking, if she gets it to me, what I'm going to do. And almost plan your next pass. Like, if I have to pass it, this is where I'm going to go with it. Now, I actually like Kaysen's odds at getting that. So again, same situation where if Kaysen gets this, am I putting myself in a position to make a play? All right. Truthfully, I would play this back to Brianna. Even though I don't like going midfield towards your defense, she didn't have a lot of pressure on her, and she's going to make the right play. All right, somebody, see how where the ref is? There's just a vacuum there of no space. And Jack did a good job of noticing it, but then they noticed Jack. So somebody from the back line probably could have ran up there. Yeah, when you see somebody kind of flub a kick like that, you got to look at them from then on as barbecue chicken. It's time to eat. See, that was an example of Reese having great leg strength, and that was a near perfect pass, and I thought you did a great job of deflecting it behind your back leg forward into a position you could run onto, and it looked really good. It was just a little bit too heavy of a touch, and it got away from you. And again, this is an excellent play by Kaysen, switching fields. Had we been spread out, we could have taken advantage of it. He's a natural defender. With his size, he's got decent footwork and the leg strength. I just don't think he sees himself as that. That's fine. I was going to say you could play that off to Addison. That is an awful decision. You were really far away. You had just beaten the defender. You've essentially got a 4-on-1, and you're kicking straight to the goalie. All right. You got to pursue them in here. You'll force them into a mistake, and that's the mistake you want. And then just a little bit unlucky that it got by Jack. It's a pretty good move by that girl to get by Kaysen and Jack. But you see how when you played aggressive with a defender that's running backwards, generally the defenders aren't the best skill players on the other team. So you're going to have that advantage anytime you've got a one-on-one. And if they make a mistake, that's a pretty good opportunity at goal. Great move by Reese. Decent pass, just needed a little more weight on it. There's those 3 defenders at the top just kind of standing there. Well, and that's what happens. And they seem to be the most upset by it. But yeah, that's what you're going to have happen when people are becoming spectators. Benji probably could have done a better job, but until I think he fixes his biomechanics, it's going to be difficult for him to play his hands, on the ball. All right, the play I'd say back here is to Kaysen. And Jack's not bad. See, you're getting upfield. Walker needs to get upfield too. Perfect by Jack. That was exactly what we want. You play it back to him. He flicks it over the midfield. And then it's just you versus the defenders. Now you need to hit Walker. Ooh, this looks good. This looks good. This looks good. That was perfect. Walker's always been kind of a pit bull, too. The closer he gets to goal, the more formidable he is. But what you did on that prior possession was perfect. From the kickoff, you got it back to Jack. You went upfield. Jack flicked it over the midfield, so you didn't have to deal with them. Then it's just all about you beating a handful of defenders, which you did. Walker came down the middle, which was perfect. Your cross was perfect. If it had been a little bit back towards Walker, the other guy, the defender, would have gotten it. But you put it in front of him, and Walker had a great opportunity. Kaysen seems to have just slightly not great timing on when to release the ball. Now this is our lefty crosser. I mean, that was a good-looking cross, too. See, that clearance by Kaysen, that's perfect. He's running backwards, and he's able to clear it back up the field. He would be perfect as a center back. The play's over to Jack if he can do it. Yeah, and that's hard. If Jack was a little bit behind him, so he may not have seen, but that's where it comes to be communicative. If Jack lets out a hawk battle cry or something, Walker might have noticed him. Maybe he did. All right, plays up to Jack. Yeah, see, that's the bad timing. It needed to be a little bit sooner. Jack probably shouldn't have tried to one-time it either. All right, Walker's got to be moving upfield. We've gained possession. And this is, if they hurried up, you see this clump of 5 Amelia people? I could have gotten it by them. A little bit of pace, kickoff. So right now we've got, what do we have? 7 people in a defenders. We didn't need that. Felix, the spacing's good. I probably yelled at you from the sideline to stand there. But see that little pocket of space? That's your space. Now, great steal by Reese. It's probably a mistake by Brianna to go too light on that pass. Now, see, Felix, see how you're coming across the field? We don't need that. Stay in that little circle. Make that your space. You're getting too, close over there. Good. Good movement going upfield. You need to move with him. You need to go. He's going now. That's knowing your teammates. That was a brutal call. I guess they called a foul on Walker. She's just got to let that go. That was, that's as bad as the first one where they called offsides. So that's 2 opportunities you guys had to score. And if you remember the first one, after they called offsides on Walker, Amelia went down and scored that very same possession. So I like the idea of having Kaysen kicking it, but I don't think Kaysen can resist going on goal. See, that was Felix. You were in the right place there, but that pass has got to go to Jack and Walker. It can't go to Green. You guys had numbers there. You had time. You got to get that in. So I think that was 2 big opportunities there. That was a rough call by the ref. So in soccer, when there's a foul on, say, the defensive team, but the offensive team might score, they call that playing the advantage. So they let the play continue, but they don't call the foul, because you can see Dempsey going up the field unimpeded. That's going to be a goal. All right, what we need here is a quick throw and a flash to the goal. See, people need to wake up. And then now Amelia's set. Oof. That's another case point for being aggressive and charging the goalie. All right. Gonna be in trouble. This kid seems fast. Gotta give Jordan credit. He's getting halfway to that second box. So that's an improvement. This is our lefty kicker. We got to step out on him. What's with all the shoe tying? All right, again. Walker, he seems to come forward on these goal kicks. I don't know why he does that. He should be setting up on the far right of the screen right now. Maybe even in the middle center circle. The play, I think, should probably be up to Kaysen. He controls it and then gets it upfield. Yeah. That would be a hard pass to get that into Harley. I do like Reese's one-on-one defense. She gets very low. It limits her ability to move laterally, though. So she can take it from somebody, but she can't really explode away from it. All right, looking at our two forwards, Felix and Dempsey, you can't be on the same line as their defenders. What one of you can do, because clearly, you're not in the play right now, is one of you could run upfield and see if you can draw the defender with you. If they don't go with you, you then become offsides. So if you ran up the field this way and they followed you, that's a way of stretching the field. Now, if they stay on this midfield line, then you guys got to come forward into this space. Felix needs to come forward into the space because being next to them doesn't do anything for you. It actually increases your propensity to be offsides. Now, you can't be offsides in your own defensive half. So there's two halves of the field marked by the midline. This defensive half, even if those four defenders came up another 20 feet, you don't have to stay in front of them at that point. It'd be nice if our players guarded other players instead of everyone focusing on the ball. And Reese actually did that there. Reese kind of dropped back to cover those two that were streaking upfield. So that was actually pretty good. Yeah, this is good. Do you see how you and Walker both were aggressive there? And their defender did something smart. They saw you guys as a threat, and they said, let's just get this out of bounds. But what you want to do in that situation, whoever is chasing the guy with the ball, that's chasing the rabbit, for example, the other person has to chase the most likely pass. Like right now, you need to guard the girl with the crazy hair. So yeah, if you were there with the girl with the crazy hair, you'd be in a better position to make that play. See, Harley had time there. He could have corralled it. And I shouldn't say crazy hair. I should say bold hair. She kind of is the counterpart to old 29 here. And that was a pretty good cross by him. I mean, the way he's able to find people that are streaking, now he put a little bit too much weight on the ball, but as he was dribbling up, and you'd probably have to rewind for us to see, he looks up and does a dribble, and looks up and does a dribble, and looks up and does a dribble. And what he's doing, he's formulating his plan. As he's coming up, he's not ready to kind of unleash that cross yet. Until he gets kind of close enough, somebody comes to him. If somebody doesn't come to him, he comes in and takes the shot. But if somebody comes to him, then he knows, without even having to look up, he knows where he needs to put that ball. So in this play, people need to guard people. So that green guy that just ran in, Kaylee should probably come out and guard him, and she kind of did. Yeah, see two people chasing the guy with the ball. Probably one. Jack needs to go. Ugh. I guess Casey didn't pass it to him anyways. But yeah, when you see your own player gain control, and if they're a competent player, that's when you start to jet up the field. Dempsey, you probably need to move away from Felix farther up to the far side of the field, just so you guys have different spots. Walker probably needs to come down behind this other guy jumping around. Well, yeah, Walker, I guess he just does that when we do goal kicks. He kind of comes in. One thing I noticed about Kaylee when I was down on the field, she always seems like she's smiling. Is that what she does in practice? That's kind of fun. It's fun to have players like that. Always in a good mood. I think if she worked at it, she could get to where Brianna's at now. She's got good work rate. She's new. That was a great trap by that guy. Awesome save by Jordan. Jordan, I wish he would come off the line a bit. So the goal line, that little line that's between the corner flags. Apparently Addison needed a hug. But he's a much less imposing figure with him standing so close to the line. As people come towards him, he should come out to greet them, because his relative size to the goal gets so much bigger. But he's got great instincts and he's fearless. Just technique-wise, there's certain things he can tweak. See, again, right here, Dempsey, what you should do on the throw-in, you should almost run upfield and see if you can get some of those defenders to chase you. That was a good goal. We piddled around too much on the sideline, and then he actually started his run, and that's where nobody picked him up. And I think if our defenders, change the way their philosophy, instead of just guarding spaces on things like that, they need to guard people. Somebody would have noted him as he's making his run upfield, and then by the time he got all that momentum, Brianna couldn't catch him. So I would play it back to Kaysen. Well, maybe you can play it to Kaysen. You go back to Dempsey. All right. I mean, that excellent footwork. Ooh. Felix, you should probably just kick that in the goal, just for fun. But that was great. For some reason, you seem to answer right after they score. You did it against Buckingham when they went up 3-1, and you did it here. Now, they're making a wall, which is funny, because you could almost flick this onto Walker and then let him get a much closer shot. But your people need to come up and get in the box. That was an excellent kick. From that distance to still be able to hit that upper corner, excellent. And being able to answer back when you guys go down like that, it does something to the team's psyche. And I guess I had to go back a couple seconds ago when I said Felix should kick it back to Kaysen. Apparently he knew something I didn't. I had to give it to Dempsey. And I think that's going to be the end of the third quarter. It was a little quick ending of this quarter. Good job moving into that space, Felix, even though you didn't have possession. More shoe tying. Now this is where Coach moved Brianna up to midfield. I think he wanted to see if by getting her there we can pin them back in their defensive half more. Plus she is kind of a quarterback with how she plays. Perfect. Kick up field to Jack. See how Jack's looking up? Perfect. That was an awesome possession from the very beginning. And combined with how you guys ended that third quarter, you guys probably scored 2 goals in about a minute. You know, they had a 3-0 lead, and now it's 3-2. I give credit to the Amelia coach, too. She took their good players off, and she wasn't in a big rush to get them back out there. You know, and that was good. You know, winning isn't everything. I like this game more than any of the other games because, you know, I liked what I saw. That was a pretty good directional first touch by Walker. You know, the ball's traveling in the air, and he flicked it onto where the path that he was running, and no one else was. And he was able to get to it again. That was, you know, great clearance by Brianna. Coming back in midfield and still controlling things. You got more shoe tying. The defense needs to come down. See that girl that's unmarked in the middle of the goal there? It looked like Brianna recognized it, but the defenders need to do that. All right, Walker needs a flank to the side, not straight in front. All right, you need to stay on him. Ooh. That was a good directional first touch by the Amelia player. Benji slipping on ice. Benji slipping on the same ice.
Okay. Where's Benji?
Little girls, we can't talk. I'm recording. Yeah. Yeah, so that you can't go straight into a defender like that. You know, you're better than that. Somebody needs to stay near side of the field. We need to stretch the field. There's too much there. I think Jack would benefit from a juggling program. Not that juggling is useful in anything, but he has so many opportunities where he's trying to pick the ball out of the air with his feet. And if he just had more work on that, I think he'd be better. That's good aggressiveness, Dempsey. Could have been a touch quicker, going after it. These guys, I think this is, I'm talking to their commissioner. I think the commissioner said this team has 10, 11, 12, and 13-year-olds on it. So this backline defenders seem to be a lot of the 10-year-olds. I think Benji slipped on the ice again. Okay, So we've got a lot of people guarding the box. Yep, yeah. These counterattacks are such great opportunities because you're basically running into space, and it's harder to guard people when they've built up speed. You know, you needed to get to that ball before the Amelia person. And it's just nothing you did wrong. You just needed to be there a little bit quicker. See, there's too many people in the same spot. Somebody needs to be, there. That was a great play on from Kaysen. So again, the play, Walker needs to go to the goal, and you need to hit him now. Ugh. All right, no, still good. We're still good. See, and it's a thing like that, whereas Jack hit it, and it was good, but he needs to be thinking score rather than just kick it up into space and then admire it from a distance. That was a great play by Harley. I thought that showed good composure. Flick it to the side. Take your time. That was an excellent cross by Jack again. That's at least twice, I think maybe 3 times he's done it with his left foot today. Probably needed to be maybe 2 or 3 feet in front of where it was. And actually that was handling by the goalie. The goalie is not allowed to receive a pass back to him from the defender. They came up with that, I think it was 1992, because anytime the defense was in trouble, they just kick it to the goalie and he picks it up and holds it above his head. And there's nothing they can do about that. But you're not supposed to be allowed to do that. And it's not it is kind of well known. Kaylee has a propensity to kick things towards the middle, which, this is going to be bad. Yep. Yeah. And I feel bad for Jordan because he's probably beating himself up over that. Because if you watched it, it kind of just went mostly straight down the middle. But he had like a little hitch before he went down to go get it. He just had a little hesitation. But I wouldn't put that on him. That was a bunch of mistakes in a row. The defense cannot play the ball back towards the middle of the field unless there's nobody there. Or unless there's somebody who's a really good handler there. That should have probably went back to Brianna. Because then Walker could get upfield, and then when she kicks it, there's 2 people. See, now Dempsey, see how people are kind of guarding you? You got to find space. Find that open space. And you know what, thinking about that, it's similar to in the first quarter where the ref called offsides on Walker. Amelia went down the field and scored. Here, their goalie had handling of the ball because of the back pass, and then Amelia went down and scored. A little bit delayed, but this game was a lot closer than the final score would indicate. Come all the way up. There you go. Oof, you need to flick it to the left there. The left was space, the right was the defender. See, you can't pass it to Jack there. When Jack's in front of you, that's going to be offsides. If you would have just continued on, that's a goal. That goalie's not going to stop you. If Jack would have lagged back a bit or maybe curled to the side. And it's one of the things, it's a difficult concept, offsides, for really kids to get. But in time, it'll be natural. I remember I didn't know what it was for the longest time, and now it just makes sense to me. But in that situation, I know he's running in front of you, and it's the idea, oh, if I get it to him, he's a little closer. But you got to be aware that he's behind the defense. Great aggression there. And I love the shot by Brianna. She probably could have taken one more touch, although that's really not her game. She scored quite a bit of goals 2 years ago when she was on the Busick team, just coming straight on just like that. Kind of hanging out in front of the center circle, midfield, waiting for a ball to pop out, and then coming up and straight on and kicking it in. All right, so yeah, Dempsey, you got to be by your side. That's you. Ooh, can't hesitate. Got to go. That shot wasn't necessary. You got to get a little bit closer. It seems like when a game's tight and you kind of feel you need, well, that was tough. I hope he doesn't beat himself up over it, but not everything needs to be as kicked as hard as you can. Sometimes you just need to put it where it needs to be. See, you three boys, you're all kind of huddling together. One middle, one left, one right. I mean, they should be coming to the near side. Look how many greens they have down here. That was it. I mean, that was a mistake. If you had already been there, yeah, you need to go inside. Again, it's almost like you're playing like there's 3 seconds left in the game. You don't be calm. You're better than that. You don't need to rush the shot. That was pretty good from that guy, trying to cross it into his people. That's perfect cross. And that was really good by her to kick it out of the air like that. But Jordan's a good goalie. He's going to just got to target those passes a little bit better. I think that guy over there is the Quicksilver guy. I think it was 29. I don't think they've got two good lefty crossers. All right, so in a situation like this, there's a handball. Buckingham's going to take some time setting up, but you see how their players immediately start to get upfield. You know, they've got 5 people upfield. Comparing that to us, which we get, that was a beautiful play upfield. And he blew that. I bet he's kicking himself over that. But anyways, when they're playing it upfield, one thing, I think it was the Buckingham game, Kaysen came out and stood the maximum distance away. Like, not maximum, the minimum distance away. So when somebody's getting a free kick like that, I don't know what the rules are, whether it's 6 yards, 10 yards, something like that, but he came out and stood in front of them, and they gave the person kicking the ball something to think about. You know, they're like, oh, this guy's here, oh, I can't kick it low, and they ended up changing their whole trajectory. But having at least one person standing in front of him is going to mess up their mindset as far as where he's targeting that pass. And he had a perfectly targeted pass because he had nothing impeding him. I thought it was a great move by Brianna. And it was a pretty good play up to you. A little bit off, but, you know, it happens. If he can... Oh, perfect. So you got to run with him, Dempsey. Yeah, there's no point ever giving up there. But I would be willing to bet with Jack on that one that he already was looking up and knew what he was going to do before he even got that ball. It's one of those situations where he was probably thinking, you know, if I can get this ball right now, I'm going to flick it up to Dempsey and Walker, and they're going to make something happen. Because as soon as he got it and I started to speak, he was already doing the right thing. That's a blunder on your part. Well, that was made up for it, as long as you don't shoot. Good. Yep. Ooh, good play by Addison. Don't shoot. You see how that's just a bad angle. The play, Walker and Jack right in the middle, right where they're standing now, maybe 5 feet in front of them. If you can just plop the ball there, let them run onto it. Now, it's a little tough because it's likely going to be using their left foot to do that, but that's still good. See, you keep running to the center circle. When you're a forward, be a forward. Be one of the, front positions, because their goalie doesn't have the leg to reach midfield. If this is the guy from Buckingham kicking it, yeah, he's going to put it there every time. So he's obviously playing it more towards the near side because he picked it up and moved it. Poor guy. Still trapped down here. Pinball with your guys' heads. See, and you don't need to be down at this side of the field. I know you think you're helping, but now Walker doesn't have somebody, to play off of. Good job staying on side. Great touch. And he crossed it for you. See, and that's the situation. Jack needs to work on that left foot. Because he was so uncomfortable with it, he kicked it with his right.